Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Just Like Football with Jack and Sean. I'm your host, Sean Gannon, alongside my partner, Jack McNicholas. We're here to bring you news, notes, weekly updates, and game analysis of your favorite teams from around the league. If you now have the chance, go check out our website, justsayingfootball.com. Follow us on Instagram at JustSaying, no GWJS, for article and video updates. And don't forget to check us out on Spotify now at Just Saying Football. We want to be in your ear canals. We like it in there. It's cozy.
Yeah, you want some clean ear canals, especially during the cold season. And get those headphones in.
Don't want to
make sure to go to Spotify and get your 3 times weekly dose of Just Saying Football.
You don't want an ear infection. We can help prevent that as we move into this Week 15 Thursday night matchup. It features an NFC West showdown. When Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers make their way to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. 49ers are favored in this one by -3.5. Over under here of 43. And a half. This is the first career away game for Brock Purdy.
Yeah, last week getting the win against the GOAT, not too bad.
No, not bad.
I gotta say, it's pretty inspiring to see this kid be able to step up. There was videos of him getting drafted, the last pick in the draft, and his family was hype, everybody was there, and it's one of those things where you look at that moment and you're probably sitting with your family saying, "Wow, maybe I'll make the team in the summer." Now it's Week 15, and you are on a 49ers team that has now won 6 straight, one of the best defenses in the entire league, coming off a win against Tom Brady. Now you're on a short week in a divisional game. I mean, you could not write like a better story for this kid.
No, not at all. I mean, look, you got a chance to clinch the NFC West, win out the division, get your chance in the playoffs. And like you said, this is a great defense. They're first in points allowed a game. They're first against the rush. 12th against the pass, and then offensively, 8th in scoring, 13th in passing yards, 9th in rush yards. Like, this is what you want to see. This is a really balanced team. This is a really scary 49ers team right now. Nick Bosa leads the league with sacks. It's probably between Nick Bosa and Micah Parsons for Defensive Player of the Year right now. And then in the way that I'm looking at this with this passing attack though right now, I think Seattle has the edge. Tyler Lockett, 6 touchdowns. Or a sort of touchdown in the last 6 straight games. Just really finding rhythm here. We saw a few weeks ago, both him and DK have over 100 yards. So the 49ers will have their work cut out for them in this one for sure.
Yeah, I think like you mentioned, the big factor there is the 49ers defense shutting down Geno Smith, shutting down the opportunity that he could have with those receivers. Obviously they are missing Ken Walker, and they are not going to be able to kind of get over this hump that San Francisco presents. I mean, last week, I feel like it was a little skewed. San Francisco has the best, rushing defense, and then Tampa has the worst rushing offense. But now we're looking at, a team that's ranked 21st, kind of bottom of the barrel. And, Brock Purdy dealing with a little bit of injury last week, but he stayed in the game. I just think this is CMC's game to take over. Last week, only 16 touches, but, 14 of them going on the ground, 119. And he still scored through both the air and the ground. So with the thing with Seattle, I do like is that they are also a top 10 scoring offense. So
absolutely,
it bodes interesting. It's kind of an interesting thing for me. I don't know if it's going to be a blowout, from San Francisco. I don't know if Seattle can kind of overcome this defense. But the one thing I do think is interesting is, like you said, with Nick Bosa, with Fred Warner, with this whole defense, if Geno Smith can keep the score high enough, I think that we saw last week that if the Niners get out in front of you, you're not going to be able to recover because the defense won't let you. But if Geno can get this game hot, do we feel better about the Seahawks?
I think you wanted to see Geno go back to what he was, which was, we saw more turnovers and less completions from him last week, which is not what we've seen all season. So you want to see him get back to the usual, keep the ball safe, being methodical and that kind of, and those kinds of things. I think if they're able to get back on track, that's always a good thing. But I think it's going to be really hard for the Seahawks to win this game. I'm going with the 49ers, despite the Deebo Samuel injury for them, which is huge. He's going to be out the next 3 weeks, and that's something to monitor, especially for fantasy owners as we're now in the playoffs. But also because I think at the end of the day, despite the Deebo injury, like you said, you still have CMC, you got Brandon Ayuk, you still have George Kittle. And I really do think that this defense of the 49ers is just built to make a stop when they need to. And we saw it 3 years ago on their Super Bowl trip when they stopped Seattle on the goal line. And I think that's really been kind of the momentum for this team since then of just like, we are not going to give up. We're playing it to the last minute.
Yeah.
Every inch counts. And that's just sort of been the 49ers mantra since that moment. So I like them in this one a lot because I think at the end of the day, even if Geno Smith gets back on track and this offense finds a rhythm without Kenneth Walker, and that's hard to do, and that was obvious last week, I still think that the 49ers defense is going to be too much for them to handle in that last drive when they have to go tie it up or try to take the lead from them.
Yeah, and on the flip, I mean the no Deebo Samuel presents so much for Christian McCaffrey, more for Ayuk, like you mentioned, but man, 160 yards on the ground per week is what Insane. Seattle allows. I mean, you just can't allow that when a guy's coming in. So I have to ask, Christian McCaffrey's line right now, 75.5 yards. Do you like
I'll
over?
take the over.
Me too.
Comfortably.
Yeah.
Especially for the rushers. So I think what's going to happen is you're going to see like a lot of passing with him as well. And for some reason, passing to him will open up that run game.
I like that. And another one, too, I see is Brandon Ayuk with Deebo out. His over-under is 55.5.
I'll take an over a 55, but under a 75. Like I think that they're gonna really. I think that when you get a third string quarterback or guys like that, what you see often is the lesser known guys. Get the receiving yards because they don't necessarily run with the first team all the time. Yeah. So he might not have that rapport immediately with Ayuk, but maybe it's Jennings. Maybe that's his guy. Like we don't. It goes through Deebo, and they'll funnel the offense through Deebo when Deebo's on the field, like you would for any true wide receiver one. But now when you don't have your wide receiver one, I think that changes. I think your quarterback kind of begins to look at everyone else, and you begin, and especially with Kyle Shanahan's offense, you then begin to say you don't necessarily need to go to your first option because the way this played, and like all players are designed, you have other options. Kyle Shanahan, that he builds safety nets within each play.
It is really incredible. I mean, we kind of have the running joke on the show of like, every time somebody's injured for the Niners, that whoever steps in is going to have a really good fantasy
That
week.
next man up mentality is real.
We just didn't realize it was going to happen when their top 3 pick got hurt after the Jimmy G stuff, and they got Mr. Irrelevant. I mean, it's an incredible thing.
1-0 as a starter.
1-0.
And 2-0 as a starter and having to fill in for a game.
And I mean, on the other flip, I just wanted to see here. I mean, DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are both 66.5. So I was going to ask about one or the other, but what do you like about that? And I'll tell you what I believe.
I'll take the over on DK, the under on Tyler.
Ooh,
but Tyler still gets a touchdown and keeps it at 7.
I like that. So Tyler Lockett, anytime touchdown score?
Anytime touchdown score.
I like that.
Put it in there for sure.
I kind of like the DK under because I feel like he's going to get more attention, and then the Lockett, I feel like it's going to go over.
Yeah.
But it can go either way. I think that both of these guys are definitely capable of getting 60 yards every week.
I like it's going to be interesting to see Woolen on Ayuk, though, in this game. Maybe he gets interception number 7 on the
We mentioned him like week 3, and the kid has literally not slowed down in the corner. And
not at all.
I got to tell you, I like San Francisco as well. 3.5. I'll take it, no problem. And
I'll take the over here.
I'll take the over as well. I was going to say.
Even on a short week.
I could see this as like 21-24 kind of a game.
Yeah.
And, that's... I feel like I took your line there where I'm like, what do we do? And you're like, I could see this as this, but I really could see it as a 24-21, like, or maybe like maybe even like 27-21.
Yeah.
Cover the 3.5.
Yeah. Let's get that 3.5 cover. That's all the time we have. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, enjoy this NFC West matchup. Week 15 is here. We got some more great stuff coming to you. Always check us out, justsayingfootball.com. Just Saying Football on YouTube and Spotify. Go get us in your ears over there. Enjoy this, man. It's going to be NFC West. 49ers can clinch a big win.
Enjoy, and don't forget, we got games on Saturday and Sunday.